Hello viewers, Assalamu alaikum. This is Eman Arif from Sindh Biotechnologist Association. Today we are going to discuss the newest technology of this era, which is called DNA microarray technology. In today's session, we'll briefly discuss about the introduction of DNA microarray technology, its historical background, procedures, types, applications, along with its limitation and its probable solutions. The human genome contains approximately up to 40,000 genes. At any given moment, each of our cells has some combination of these genes turned on and others are turned off. But how do scientists figure out which are on and which are off? By using this technique called microarray technology. Microarrays are a technology in which thousands of nucleic acids are bound to a surface and are used to measure the relative concentration of nucleic acids in a mixture via a procedure called hybridization, which subsequently detect these hybridization events. The biochips which are used are made up of plastic, glass, or silicon. Why do people use this technology? Is because of its ability to detect the simultaneous expression of thousands of genes. Every spot has a unique DNA sequence or gene location in a computer database. The DNA molecules attached to each slide act as a probe to detect gene expressions, which is also known as transcriptome, or the set of messenger RNA transcripts expressed by a group of genes, followed by hybridization of fluorescently labeled complementary DNA with these probes. You know, up to 6,500 genes can be detected in a single biochip or DNA chip. Where it is all started from. DNA microtechnology was evolved from southern blotting. The concept of microarrays was first proposed in the 1980s by Eugen Litt and his colleagues. They spotted 4,000 complementary DNA sequences on nitrocellulose membranes and used radioactive labeling to analyze differences in gene expression patterns among different types of colon tumors, and that too in various stages of malignancy. The use of miniaturized microarrays for gene expression profiling was first reported in 1995, and a complete eukaryotic genome of Saccharomyces cerevisiae on a microarray was published in the year 1997. So, this is the procedure of performing a DNA microarray. In the first step, we have to collect samples. The reference sample could be collected from a healthy individual, and the experimental sample could be collected from an individual with a disease like cancer. The next step is the synthesis of cDNA from mRNA. The two messenger RNA samples are then converted into a complementary DNA, which we call cDNA. The third step is the probe tagging. Each sample is labeled with a fluorescent probe of a different color. For instance, the experimental complementary DNA sample may be labeled with a red fluorescent dye, whereas the reference complementary DNA may be labeled with a green fluorescent dye. Followed by the fourth step, which is hybridization. The two samples are mixed together and allowed to bind on a microarray slide. This particular process is called hybridization. Following hybridization, the microarray is scanned to measure the expression of each gene printed on a slide, which is printed via a bioscanner. Here comes the pictorial depiction of the DNA microarray technology. In this slide, you can clearly see two groups. One is from the normal cell side, while the other is from the cancerous cell side. In normal cells and cancerous cells, we have to first culture these cells to form or create mRNA transcript, from which complementary DNA is formed. This DNA is formed by reverse transcription, and then probe labeling is done. It is labeled then with a green fluorescent probe in the normal cells, while in cancerous cell, the cDNA is labeled with the red fluorescent probe. These probes are then hybridized onto a oligonucleotide sequence array. These are then scanned, and here is the key for its significance. If there's only a gray color in the microarray, that means no cells are present. If yellow color showed up, it means that particular gene is present in both of the cells, that is, in normal cells and in cancerous cells. If green color showed up, then it shows that these are the normal cells, while red color is always of danger. So you can remember it easily that whenever red color comes, it means that this cell is diseased. The complementary DNA microarray is the most powerful tool for studying gene expression in many different organisms. It has been successfully applied to the simultaneous expression of many thousands of genes and to large scale gene discovery, as well as polymorphism screening and mapping of our genomic DNA clones. It is a high throughput, highly parallel experiments, and depending upon the kind of immobilized sample used construct arrays and the information fetched from these microarrays, the microarray experiment can be categorized into majorly two types, that is spotted DNA array and complementary DNA, uh, also called complementary DNA array and oligonucleotide array. The complementary DNA microarray is the most powerful tool for studying gene expression in many levels. It is a high throughput, highly parallel RNA expression assay technique that permits quantitative analysis of RNA transcribed from both known and unknown genes. This technique provides diagnostic fingerprints by comparing gene expression patterns in normal and pathological cells, and because it can simultaneously track expression levels of many genes, therefore, the cDNA or spotted DNA array can provide a source of operational context for inference and predication about complex cell control systems. In a spotted DNA array, biochips are made up by complementary DNA, which are amplified by PCR. These are then immobilized on a solid support system, after which probe DNA is loaded in a spot by capillary action. An oligonucleotide DNA microarray is a DNA microarray whose probe is the chemically synthesized oligo-DNA after genes corresponding to exons are selected. Since the probe is shorter than a complementary DNA microarray, its specificity is high and cross-hybridization can be inhibited, which causes contamination. Here are some applications of DNA microarray technology. DNA microarrays were most commonly used as a research tool. Scientists continue today to conduct large-scale population studies, for example, to determine how often individuals with a particular mutation actually develop a particular kind of cancer, let's just say breast cancer. or to identify the changes in gene sequences that are most commonly associated with that particular disease. The data gathered through microarrays can be used to create gene expression profiles, which shows simultaneous genes and its changes in response to a particular condition or treatment. Microarrays can also be used to study the extent to which certain genes are turned on or off in cells and tissues. Host pathogen interactions can also be achieved by using DNA microarray technology. A new probable drug or vaccine candidate identification can also be performed. Developmental genetics and DNA protein interaction can be cross-checked by this technology. Microbe identification and tumor classification, that what kind of cancer does a patient have, can also be identified through this technique. At present, we are still struggling mainly with the technological and computational limitations, and it must be emphasized that most results have to be considered to be somewhat preliminary, since technical tools and analysis methods are only require does only require on validation. It is because of the variability in data due to low gene expression levels and non-specific hybridization. This is also because of the smaller sample amount for replication. Poor shelf life of DNA chip is always the mainstream concern of this technology, which makes this technology a bit expensive. Only the sequences to which an array was designed can be detected, limiting its use to only predefined sequences. So, what are its probable solutions? Its probable solution includes the replication and reduced replication of false positive reactions, use of amplified RNA, and reciprocal labeling to confirm observation. These should be confirmed with other biochemical analysis for protein expression, uh, for instance, immunohistochemistry protein assays. These are some references or outsources from where this all information has gathered to deliver to you people. And this is all about from this session. Thank you so much for your time and concern. We are open to your questions. Please let us know if you have any query in the comment section below. Also, like us, share us, and promote us to raise the voice for the biotechnologists, not just in Sindh, but in Pakistan. Take care. Till next time, signing off. Aman Arif. Allah Hafiz.